Hello, everybody. Rev.Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii. I need to do this show for major reasons. One is, first of all the liars out there, all the storytellers, all the dreamers, and all the rich assholes claiming to be whatever they claim to be. All right, I lost 16 people, friends in the UFO world. A good friend I did all my UFO stuff with kind of sold out to the government. All the people I deal with kind of like call me crazy because I talk about the truth. Nobody wants the truth. So this is an emergency broadcast. There are multiple reasons why I'm doing this show. One is the religious people are completely programmed, brainwashed. There's 2,000 religions, but only 2 of them have the highest percentages of the population. Christianity, 2.5 billion. Muslims, 2.3 billion. Where did religion start? Who's got any truth with their own religion? And what are they trying to bring into this world? I'm going to go into a bunch of things, and I'm going to try to do this. I can't talk loud. I hope you can hear me okay. But I got a sick person in the back room. I don't want to disturb her. But I feel it's pretty important to get through some of these things today. Got a president in power. He said on day one he will be a dictator, which he's becoming. And people voted for that. Well, people listen to lies. When I was younger, I was a Protestant for 14 years. At the end of the 14 years, I was allowed to go to my minister and ask him questions. I asked him 3 questions. He couldn't answer one of them. And I said, why am I following a path that can't be answered? From then on, I studied 14 religions. Each one of them has 0 truth about a real God. But let's go into the history of that real fast, real slow, however it's going to turn out. When did religion start? A long time ago. By who? It started in India with the worship of deities and supposedly working with them. Deities are real entities. Some are good, some are bad. Same as angels. Some are good, some are okay. I wouldn't say any of them are bad. Now, let me get this out there right away. For all the fools, people in a religion called Luciferians, they are fools. Lucifer was never a demon. He never came down here to destroy the planet. All right. Lucifer is one of the highest angels who fell with many of the other high angels. You have to believe it or not. But then we have what happened afterwards. Deities were allowed to take power over the earth. Shiva, Durga, Kali were the main ones in the beginning. And after they left, we were being visited by aliens, and aliens took over control. What happened in between all that time frame? Atlantis was the first time, the only time planet Earth was in a level of peace, harmony, love, compassion, all those words. Every one of us that lived there was had the abilities of 32 psychic abilities, which Jesus had, and Mary Magdalene. All right, within that, you can't lie, you can't steal, you can't hurt people. It was an incredible time. We didn't eat meat, we didn't kill. All right, some from way back in one of my lifetimes, the beginning. But so we destroyed the land and took out most of the people. The rest of them were reprogrammed, meaning they were given the abilities to kill, eat animals, sacrifice, torture, all those horrible words. From then on, it just grew. But who was in charge of that? Aliens are under the control of one thing. Same thing humans are under the control of one thing. Not Lucifer, people. Lucifer's in the next realm. Satan dwells in this realm. His army dwells here. Possessions and all those things come from Satan, not Lucifer. I'm not going to go into all those details yet. Maybe at the end, who knows. But I want to get through a lot of things to get you up to par where we are right now. We have, over the past 40 years, I'm going to do it in two parts. On the spiritual part, supposedly, for a word. The word came out, okay, children of light, the blue star children, the indigo children. All right. Now, there's another thing that was happening during that time frame. The Bible was kind of being squished. Truth was being squished. But what was being put out there was the Galactic Federation. And then a big word, Ashtar Command. All right. It started out as a program by the government. Nobody knows that. All right. But people accepted it. People accept a lot of things, especially in their subconscious state. When you dream, you're going through a lot of different things. The mind's not actively creating it. Your brain, which soul is in this body, and it has no control over it at any level. It tries to, but it can't. All right, but it has the ability to see all the things that are in its brain, and everything you learn in your brain is a wrinkle. So they all stay there like a library. So those things come out through dreams and visions. But there's a difference between actual visions and dreams. All right. Dreams can... I did dream work for a couple of years. You can get a lot from dreams. They tell you a lot of things. All right. But getting back to visions. Visions are multiple. They could be good. They could be bad. They could be real. They cannot be. Doing drugs and drinking don't help make it a real one. I don't care what drugs you're doing, peyote, ayahuasca, any of those drugs, doesn't link you up to the higher realm of God, period. It gets you out of the physical body, out of the physical plane, into the astral plane. When people talk about dimensions, they don't even know what they're talking about. The scientists have no clue anything beyond this physical reality and their so-called 3 dimensions that are here. They don't go into the spiritual realms. They don't go into the higher realms, whatever words you want to use. The astral plane is the next level of awareness. So when we have these new age people, reach your higher awareness, become all that you can. You are all that you can be right now. How and what you do with it is up to you, not up to anybody else. If you follow the truth, you have to live by the truth, and you have to die by the truth. When you switch over, you open yourself for karma, which actually means you'll probably reincarnate because of that as well. Reincarnation's real, people. Christians don't want to believe it. Muslims don't talk about it. Then you got Farrakhan, who talks about aliens and ships and everything else. So you can follow a religion and get a lot of stories. But there's a few stories I want to put at rest or bring out to the truth. The Emerald Tablets are still the only oldest tablet on the planet. And there's only one of them. They know that there's 3. They can't find the other 2. I was accepted into the White Brotherhood. I didn't even want to be. There was people at a seminar and they charging $450 to get initiated. The girl goes, "Come on, sit down here." I said, "Why?" She goes, "Well, you have to be initiated." I said, I don't have that kind of money. And she goes, "No, just sit down." And then she worked with me. And I was brought into the White Brotherhood. Now, they put on a front of religion, but they actually follow the Emerald Tablets. right? You should study them. There's a lot of important things in that. But if you want to stay locked in a religion, one religion, you're in extreme trouble. I'm going to throw this in real fast before I forget. Mr. Trumpo said, let's bring God and religion back into it. It would be great if he knew God, if he knew what religion was. He doesn't even know the Lord's Prayer. He can't act on the Lord's Prayer. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but when you say I'm in a religion, you should follow the rules of it if you want to be in it. Now, I'm not going to name all the religions because there's over 2,000. Like I said, Christianity has the highest population, 2.5 billion around the planet. They believe in Jesus, they believe in God. All right, now the separation between Catholics and Protestants is Jesus is on a cross or Jesus is off the cross. But the truth is, Jesus was killed, for a real word. Many of the people were killed the same way in that time frame. But why and who was he, and why do people say he was God? He never, ever said he was God. I put my life on the line for that one. And I'm only responsible to God, nobody else. So when people say, oh, blah, 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 were you there? Did you see it? Did he tell you he was God? Ever? When a person words, and they say in his words, when Jesus was teaching the people on the mountain and stuff, nobody took shorthand. Nobody could document everything he said or even perceive what he was saying. But he did limit what he said to simple-minded people. Fishermen, horseshoe makers, and farmers. What do they know about a God? What do they know about death? What do they know about reincarnation? Jesus had to teach all that, was trying to. But it's like taking a pigeon and telling him to talk. It's pretty hard. All right, and it usually doesn't work. So here's the thing. When he used words to them, what could he say? Dimensional? When he talked about God's worlds, what did he say? What would they understand? And how did they relate to God? He? 90% of people relate to God as he. I have to stop myself from saying it. I was so programmed with that word. God is not a he. God is not a she. First off, God is real, probably more real than the whole multi-universe put together in any important way. But what is its belief teachings for us? There's very few souls on this planet that have a clue. Save the world. Think about that when you say that. If God had the power to create multiple universes, multiple worlds, whales as well, multiple realities, why don't you think if it was that kind of an entity being, why would it create hell? Pain, suffering, sickness, disease, sacrifice, murder, torture. Why would it allow that if it was a loving being for what most people believe God to be? Oh, he loves me, and he's there to save you. Sorry, yes. From what? Well, God, people, and this is the fact, whether you accept it or not, whether you do or not, you're going to have to think about it. Does God protect you in the physical reality? Oh, I had cancer, I was dying, and I was saved. Okay, but guess what? You're going to die soon. You got a maximum of 125 years. If you live 125 years, you're going to probably see half of your family die. But is that what you want as well as being a spiritual being, what you believe, or a religious person? Two separate words mean very much the same. New Age people of the New Age world trying to put religion down, they follow a dogma of laws from Moses. Moses wasn't God. All right. Moses had 10 laws. The 10 laws of the 10 Commandments are not bad for a person to live by. Nothing in them will hurt you. Each one of them is only part of a truth. Honor their mother and father. Well, guess what? They have to honor their children as well. I mean, there's a lot more Moses couldn't put on his little tablets that he wrote. All right. But In the interim, he created 63 laws, people. If you read the old part of the Bible, which you probably didn't and probably never will, he goes into them. He was pretty pathetic. Plus, he was a black magician. All right, if you use magic, power, psychic abilities to kill, it's black magic. For healing, it's white magic. But then again, right now, there's very few souls on this planet that can use it in a very good way. I'm going to get into that real fast. A healer, psychic healer, super high priest or whatever you think that's going to heal you, whatever. If they say they're going to heal you, they're using your own power. Nobody on this planet has the ability to heal other people with their power. When they say, well, I'm going to heal you, you subconsciously give over your power to them and they can use it. I can tell you, I went through many levels of that and proof is always there. I don't know if you ever heard it called Moon. Okay, it's an incredible teaching for a certain level. All right, you ever hear of Eckankar? You ever hear of Shab Yoga? There's only 3 religions on this planet that teach about getting closer to God. And not one of them truly explains God in any way. Well, my book, one of my books, True Teachings of Jesus from God Realization, goes into that. My first book was How to See God. But I don't go into the complete details. I never did. Because I haven't found one. I found 2 people in my life so far that want all the truth. And they're working really hard to get it and get to that point. No teacher is a good teacher if they can't teach you to go past them. If you're going to stay under your teacher, you're a slave to his teachings. If they can't raise your soul to become greater than his or hers, they're useless. Now, it's like saying all the angels have their teachings. All the deities have their teachings. They can only teach you what they know. No person on this planet has any of those abilities in any great level. A psychic maybe has 1% or 2% of a psychic ability. If a person had 100% psychic ability of just one of the 32 psychic abilities, they can control the world. If you could see the future just 1 minute in advance, 1 minute, you could go to every casino and walk out with all their money. You could stop this and that from happening. I know never did that. And I knew the top psychic who I worked with for years. And I proved everything she did and says. I'm not like my ex-partner that I did my UFO stuff with, claiming he's the disciple of Jesus on Jesus' mission. Jesus doesn't have a mission here no more. People are corrupted. They lost God. They lost the truth. Who's going to bring it back? Trump? People, you're stepping into a world that's going downhill rapidly. I don't see much of help in any way. And why I do my show? Because there's a few souls out of 8 billion people that want to rise above it, that do not want to reincarnate, do not want to come back here. There's 5 passions, people, that keep men, mainly, more so than women, addicted to reincarnating here, subconsciously. Most people wouldn't want to come back, or their family's up there, or whatever. And I break it down. It was lust, greed, anger, vanity, and attachment is the way one religion talks about it. One of the important religions. But I break it down to what they are. And there's only 5 things. Drinking, smoking, and drugs. Cheap thrills, sports, and cheap sex. Right, take them all away. How many men want to be here or want to do anything? All right, I never was a person that could hang around with groups of men. When a group of men get together, the level of awareness drops. It doesn't increase, even in a church, in a temple, wherever you go. You can meditate all day long. I'm in a situation with a Lama. Buddha didn't believe in God. And there was 8 Buddhist people. They followed 3 through history. But those Buddhists did not believe in God either. The teachings are only able to take you to the astral plane of nothingness. But that's not all that exists on the astral plane. There's multiple levels there. If you ever heard of the Akashic records, are there for you to go see if you want to see your past, present, and future. Oh, well, you create a future, but just beyond time, which we live in, times multiple. And I don't want to get into that. We did do time travel, thanks to Mr. Tesla. I'm not going to get into that right now. I can tell you, I probably know more than 99% of people on this planet, and I'm not saying that from ego. I'm saying it from the people I work with. I dealt with almost every psychic in the United States that I could. I had one simple question not one of them could answer. I mean, the one top psychic in New York City charges $500 for a half hour. Oh, but I said, I just want one question. She goes, I can't answer it without even me telling her what it was. But I can go into that as well. I danced native dancing around the United States for 35 years. And within 2 months, I was confronted by 3 psychics and 2 medicine people, all telling me the same thing. I'm not going to brag about it or say it, but they all confronted me and told me, this is who I am, this is my mission, and this is what's going to happen, but it's up to me. And this final decision is good or bad, whatever I choose. Sadly, I would choose the bad side right now. Mankind doesn't deserve what we have. We destroy everything we have. We destroy our children, our food, our water, our air, our planet. And we think we're getting help from who? God? Jesus? You think Jesus wants to come back here? For what reason? They killed him when he was here. And if you were killed the way he was, you think you'd want to come back again and go through it again? People haven't changed. People have gotten worse. Satan has more power over more people than any other entity or being. Christians follow, they say, Jesus, but they don't know Jesus. All right, now, if you believe in past life regression, past lives, reincarnation, you're a little more advanced than most people. If you don't, you got a long way to go. And you're not going to go to a higher realm not knowing what you're doing or where you're going or even how you're going to get there. All right, but let's get back to the beginning. You're programmed all through childhood, school, friends, family. Not one of them teaches you one thing important. And let's say that you have to go through love 100 times, 20 times to understand it. No, that doesn't make you understand love. I could do a whole story on why I came back in this lifetime. I had multiple lifetimes. I'm aware of all of them. And there's hundreds of lifetimes we go through, people. Not 2, 3, 5, 10. Realize in half of them you had families, had children, and all those. So when you die, who do you want to see? Just your present wife? Not all the wives you had, and all because they're not there either. The few souls that get to stay there are on a mission, have greater jobs to do than sitting there watching TV and making jokes. All right, building a toy car, spaceship. Does that help us become spiritual? Destroying our food chain? Making drugs that don't do anything. You think in 40 years they wouldn't change what they made. I got injected from my shoulder, which I had operated on and things like that. But they're still using the same thing then, now, which does very little for the joints and muscles. The medicines they give you more problems than what they're supposed to be curing. So we're on a downhill cycle with our medicine. Our food is all toxic. You know, real sugar is not half as dangerous as every other sugar they use, including all the synthetic no sugars. They're toxic. So we're creating a sick world, sick planet, sick people, sick thinking. And what's the main thought in a person's mind? Money. And I say this to every rich person, Musk, Trump, and anybody else. Oprah. I've been writing to Oprah for 25 years and never got one reply. People either think you're crazy or they're just afraid of the truth. All right. In a nut house, people considered crazy. You know why they're crazy? Because they don't think like everybody else. Whatever it is. If you think different and you think outside of the quote percentage of people that believe something, you're crazy. Well, I say I'm crazy going sane. I say everybody else is sane going crazy. Finding God is better than losing God. So when you work in your life and you talk about love, you talk about compassion, not one person I ever met could actually answer what spiritual means. Oh, well, I'm spiritual. Well, what's it mean? What were you before you're spiritual? I was drinking, smoking. What do you do now? Oh, I gave it up. Now you're spiritual because you gave it up? Well, it's a small part of becoming better for your body, for life. But the thing is, if you hurt other people, no matter what you're doing, it's not a beneficial thing. Even a bartender, serving people liquor, doing drugs, serving people drugs. All those things do not make you a better person. Serve a person a drink, they go out and have a car accident. That's your karma too. People don't accept karma. Buddha was 100% right about karma. It's the most toxic thing you can get in your life, and it's in everybody's life. They play with it, use it or not. But it's there, and it will be there the day you die. What you created, what you got rid of, what you have to pay and what you don't. I can tell you what goes on when you die, when you get to the astral plane, how long you're going to stay there, and then what's going to happen. You don't get to stay there. Your mother, your father, your brother, whatever, whoever's there, don't get to stay there in most cases. If they're communicating to you in any way, they're not there. All right? Heaven's not earth. And it's not like being in the same place. You go to a new dimension, new reality. Why would you want to come back to a lesser reality that is called hell? All right, I don't know if you ever heard the book Dante's Inferno. He talks about levels of hell. All those levels he talks about are here. But you can't experience them on the astral plane. The astral plane is so different than here. You pick the age you want when you get there. It can be 25, 35. That's the average age most people pick that stay there. I met people that wanted to be a child and stay a child when they get there and stuff, but you're going to learn from there. And there you could stay there for a long period of time. 1,000 times longer than you can stay here. So if that's what you want, fine. Every step's better than where you're standing. Standing somewhere, you never get nowhere. Take one step, you're one step forward. Take 2 steps backwards, you're going backwards. But you can leave where you are in this moment, not by somebody telling you you're spiritual now or this, that, or the other thing. Doing the work's not easy. Trying to get closer to God is the hardest step any soul can take. But Jesus said a lot of important things. Mankind never understood half of it. When he told his disciples to leave their families and their children, why do you think he would do that? See, people still can't understand what he's saying. How many 2,000 years later? Why is that? Because they're stuck on the words that man used in that time frame. My father's mansion. What's that mean to you? Well, it's a beautiful castle. We could go in the living room, the swimming pool. No. He said, when I die, I'll be on the right hand of my Father. All right? Not, I'll become God. He never said that, ever. Alive, when he was alive, or even in the writings. It wasn't him saying it. Anything you read in the Bible was written by man. Moses' writings weren't written by God either. People, you believe these things. Was Moses there to see everything? He lived what? How long? A super long time. But what did he see and what did he do? A lot of horrible things. And the promised land. Even the people that read the Bible couldn't understand what he meant about the promised land. This isn't the promised land. Nowhere on earth is a promised land. Man became killers. When Moses brought the people to the promised land, he couldn't go in. Why? Do you know? When those people got in there, what did they do? Killed everybody there. So, and that's called religion spiritual? Or religious? Really? People don't understand anything about their own religion, never mind other religions. You want to go into Hasidic Jewish religion, what they believe in, what they do, Muslim religions. Most religions still attack women in their relationship, which is pretty sick and pathetic. But I'll tell you this, Atlantis, the beginning of the most positive human race on this planet that was alive at that time frame. All right, they believed in God. They knew God. They had psychic abilities, so there was no way you could lie, steal, and get away with anything without everybody knowing it. But we didn't eat animals. We didn't kill animals. We didn't need to. We don't need anything that we keep making today. You can live on light and water for a year straight. Do you know that? You'll lose weight, but you can live on it. There's a lot of things that we don't perceive or understand. Native people had a lot of secret teachings as well. They lived underground. I'm talking about the Hopi people, the only true race in the United States. They were here. They were never brought here, never came from anywhere else. There's 500 tribes, but they all came from other parts of the world. Don't forget, the world was one giant piece of land and then it split apart. But, you have to realize things, what's real, what's not. Wording of men is 90% a lie. Partial truth. Scientists lie about everything. One day eggs are good for you. Second day eggs are bad for you. Third day we don't have any eggs. Oh, now they're $500 a dozen. I mean, just exaggeration of what man does. Science can never explain God, never explain angels, never explain deities, never explain reincarnation, even though we're getting closer and closer to reincarnation awareness. But it's not going to change the mass races of religionist people. They're all locked into words, phrases, and sentences. Well, to all the rich people in the Bible alone, I mean, Jesus talked outside of the Bible, people, but in the Bible, he said, it's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than a rich person to get into heaven. Why would he say that? Because it's true. Look at Musk. Look at Oprah. They can't talk about God. When Oprah dealt with Deepak Chopra and Eckhart Tolle, neither one of them have a clue about what God is. Nor death, nor any of those words. I had 5 death experiences. I left going in the inner worlds. I met with angels, met with deities, and I met with higher things as well. All right, on the astral plane, there's 3 deities, or little gods, whatever word you like, that stop souls from going from the astral plane into the mental plane, the third world. Well, I just got out of jail, now I'm religious, now I can go to heaven. No, you can't. You could go there for a couple years before you reincarnate, but you're given the chance to see things that will help you grow, hopefully. Now, the phrase saying that soul can't be created nor destroyed is another lie. Science says, well, you can't destroy matter. It'll always be there. It could take different forms, but it'll always be there. In this physical reality, the astral reality has its own set of rules. The mental plane has its own set of rules. The fourth, fifth planes have their own set of rules of soul and life. And they're all different. The other thing is male and female. After the third world, you're no longer male or female. Do people want to hear that? Of course not. Do men want to hear that? Definitely not. When you become a light body, you don't need other things. It's like taking a flashlight, turning it on. See that light beam? Can it be anything else? Can it turn into a person, a caterpillar, a fly, anything? No, it's a light beam. But when you're a light body, it has its own awareness. Sorry, my back is so bad. I'm in so much pain with it. But you know, we are programmed over and over about religion, spiritualism, truth and lies, but nobody talks about the truth. In the UFO world, it's a complete cover-up of all the truth. Everything you hear is twisted information. Nobody leaves a UFO unprogrammed. 99% of everybody that gets abducted has little truth of what really went down, other than it was bad. But when a person comes back and says, oh, they took me to all these other worlds and universes, and they told me all these words, it has nothing to do with reality. Nobody came back with anything important for the human race. Now, if you depending on what you consider important, Tesla worked with an alien race. So did Einstein, but he worked with aliens in vision. Einstein worked with them physically. Tesla worked with them physically. I'm not going to go into that whole story. It's a long story, and it's real, and it's really important. It's the most important UFO abductee situation in history. Because of that, reality has changed completely. All right, but now Einstein was being fed a lot of lies, and they're only being proven now. It took them how many years to find out half of the things Einstein said aren't real. From the size of a ship, you can't go backwards and forwards in time, and things like that. He didn't know. Tesla did. And I knew one person that went back in time, was probably the only first person in the physical world to go back in time. And forward, and back, and forward. I was friends with him until a month before he died. He said they can't kill me until next month, and sure enough he died that month. But he was sick and old. But for a while he looked 60, he looked about, I'd say 70 when I met him, but then only 6 months later he looked like he was in his late 50s. But he said he was sent back in time, and he was offered a lot of money. I'm not going to go into those details. Does it care? Do you care? Do you believe it? No, probably not. Do you believe in aliens? Oh yeah, they have to be real. That they're really here? Do you believe in UFOs? Well, I think I saw one. Think? You probably did. Bigfoot is definitely real. But what is he? Is he important to the human race? Now, tribal people adopted a lot of things. They said they work with Bigfoot. Really? I challenge a lot of them. I danced all over the United States, sat with many elders, and said, well, what did they do? How did they help you? Not one of them could give a real reason how they helped them, but they didn't. There was 50 million Native people, and 99% of them were killed, which is sad because the white race didn't like them. They had the Spanish helping them, and there was battles over it, but they slaughtered them all. The few that are left that are on the reservation still have a hard time. Putin, aliens, and 9/11. But Biden went out before he left the White House, gave a speech about Native people, which is important. I put the link up as often as I can. On the last day, he freed Leonard Peltier. Another story you should learn. understand what happened in the United States for real. When Trump says he's this or that, George Washington and Jefferson were the worst Native American killers in the United States. So how do you base they're good people? Well, they killed all the Native people. That makes them good? When we go to another country and kill all the children in like Vietnam, that makes us good people? If you were in Vietnam and had to kill children, how does it make you feel? You were told to kill and you did. Is that under God's law or your law? The president law is not God's law. I mean, if the president Trump came out and said everybody has to jump off the bridge today, will you? Hope you're not stupid enough to do it. But we are being mass-fed false information. I worked with a hypnotist when I was 12 years old, started doing hypnosis when I was 14. I went into psychic implant removal as past life regression when I was young. It wasn't even thought about. But I had all my friends in my neighborhood hypnotized with certain words. I could put any one of them out, anywhere, anytime. But I grew out of that because I was going to become a stage hypnotist. And I said, why? I don't want the blame and the ability to control other people. Even though you're not controlling them, but then again you are. Hypnosis says you can't tell other people to do something that they don't want to do. A lie. I had everybody I know doing things they normally would not want to do. And it was like always in a group thing. What do you want to make them do today? Oh, make them do this or make them do that. All right. I was probably considered a witch, a demon by a lot of people in those days even, but I became a high priest at 16. I had a lot of abilities, and I gave them all up because they cannot be used on this planet in this time frame. Anybody that says they're a spiritual leader, spiritual master, they're lying to themselves and they're lying to you. The power of them saying it to you is converting your thinking. When Trump was on TV every day for a year straight, maybe 10 times a day, you don't think that affects your subconscious mind? Well, to break your subconscious mind takes, there's a famous speaker says 20 days. I say at least 25. And you can't break it one day or you'll get your programming right back in your brain or whatever you're trying to get rid of. Subconscious programming is very hard to break. Very few people do. I worked many people, not one of them did follow through with the exercise they gave them. Again, you can't break it. It's like how long you have to stay away from it before it leaves. But you open the door tomorrow, it comes right back in, and you got to start all over. Entities, demons are there around you always as well. I learned that in hypnosis. When you hypnotize somebody, you hypnotize the entities around you and the person you're working with. So when somebody says, I'm the king, I'm the queen, I'm this, it's just one of the spirits or souls that are entities, whatever, around them that are saying it. It could be true for somebody, somewhere, some soul, but not yours. When you get a completely ridiculous reading, it doesn't have to be yours either, and it probably isn't. Houdini was my idol because I went into magic for many years as well, stage magic as well. And I found that it's easy to convince a person's mind to believe whatever you want them to with magic. And magic, stage magic, is not real. Psychic magic is real. Again, there is a big difference between the two. Chris Angel was doing magic in the streets and cutting people in half and all that, and people believed it. So, minds with sight, vision, smell, taste, can believe anything. It's easy to program a person. When I was doing hypnosis, it was easy. But something you learn, if somebody's really not super bright, it's super hard to hypnotize them. So, my teacher, which was Kreskin, said Hitler controlled his army by the power of suggestion, which hypnosis is. Oh, you're tired. Oh, you're sleepy. Oh, you're going to turn into a bird. Oh, it's power of suggestion that you accept. But you're in a state where your subconscious mind is just listening and following. Just stop it. I can't be hypnotized. I wanted to be, but they can't. My soul is protected greatly, not because I wanted it to be. I can't be taken by aliens. A lot of things. It's good in a lot of ways if you want to become spiritual or aware. But if you want to join the garbage, it's not a good thing because you're protected from it. I'm not protected from a car smashing me, but I'm protected from a demon trying to take me. I can go into stories about that. I was doing exorcisms. I did all that. All these speakers have zero evidence of what they talk about, meaning actual experiences. A dream or saying I was on a ship and zero proof, zero witnesses. And people make stories better every time they tell it. My story never changes. Stephen Greer's story changes every time he tells it. I knew a very famous writer. His book was a bestseller for 3 years. Saved my own life. He claimed he was hit by lightning 3 times. I had lunch with him with 13 people. Somebody paid $130 so I could eat with him. But again, I confronted him in front of the 13 people, and he stood up and told the truth. I don't want to go into that because he said that what he is, who he was, what, and all that. He says he'll reincarnate many times to pay off his karma. But he admitted it. And when I met him at the end of the thing and I hugged him and stuff, man, the energy coming out of him was stronger than 99% of the people I ever were with. So you do change. But you have to work out the karma. It doesn't disappear. No psychic or new age healing will poof, your negative is gone. You can tell yourself that every morning. If you kill somebody, no matter what you tell yourself, that doesn't disappear. You kill one person, you change history forever. Think about it. Their children, children from them, children, and them, and them, and them. What they could have become, where they went, and all that. When you do that, you change history. So thinking it just goes away because you feel like, oh, I did 100 Hail Marys, or I jumped up and down 10 billion times, whatever you think you're doing to get rid of your karma. Karma is real, people. I could go into being psychic and what, I don't know. Just real fast, when you're psychic and really psychic, what things you can do, and you have to watch every thought you create. 100%. I'd say, oh, that guy should go die. Guess what? When you have that kind of ability, you are a danger to yourself as well as the world. That's why I say they can't be used now. Not in any good way, because the first thing you want is money. I want to heal everybody. Well, heal the whole planet. Take away sick minds. Do something constructive. They can't. So it's a matter if they can program your consciousness to believe something. Healings come from a psychic only temporary. And they don't remove karma. Most of your problems you get are because of karma. No matter what it is. I cut myself today twice in the same spot. How crazy is that? But and I watched the blood dripping down my arm, and I said, all my life I was always willing to give myself to God, period, and do anything it says. Now, if you go to a psychiatrist, which I did, they'll tell you, do you talk to God? You do not answer yes. Do you think you're being followed? You don't answer yes. I mean, all those questions they ask you, you don't answer them the way you know they really are. Because then they'll just say you're crazy. All right? Knowing more than they do, you're above them in the first place. They don't know God. So they don't know if God would talk to you or not, or why they would talk to you. God doesn't talk to souls much on this planet. And if it does, it's for a split second. Don't stand there, oh God, what's next? What am I going to do? Oh, what this, blah, blah, blah. Think it needs to hear any of that in this hell world? Things aren't getting better, people. That's why I'm doing a show. Are you going to change your reality? Where do you want to go when you die? You might be on a suit, no food, no home, and want to die anyway. But what do you want? What is your end game? What's going to be the perfect game? You have 10 kids, a nice house, and all that, and then you die tomorrow, and you're... How incredible is that? Not. People, we set up things. Are you willing to pay? Pay what's going to happen to them, their karma. Pay your karma. Karma is an important word because everything you do is based on karma. Good, better, and different. Everything you're experiencing now is not everything. Most everything is based on your past karma. The pain and suffering you're going through comes from past karma. I'm not going to go into details with that, but there's things you can do to help you get there now. Dreams. I did a dream workshop for 2 years. I mean, something like that could help you open up doors because, you know, it was coming to when I was doing my workshop. Anything I dreamed, the last thing in my dream was the first thing that I saw when I woke up, and it played backwards. So, you know, it can answer things, could help you with things, help you stop doing things. But then there's the truth. Why are you here? To pass time. God needs 8 billion people on this planet alone to pass time. For what? Now, the other idea, God is everything, the eternal Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Okay, so wait, so what? What's that mean? What part of God are we really? Very few people perceive any aspect of that. Well, I'm God. Really? Well, I would say the simplest way I would describe that, take a mirror, drop it on the floor. The biggest piece is God. The little pieces are you. So are you God? No. Do you reflect its light? Do you reflect all that? Yes. But are you that? Do you know even right from wrong? Good, bad? Can you make a judgment in a split second? I give a simple technique how to make a decision and know that it's right. It'll take you a week or two. Come into one of my shows. Not my UFO show, but my spiritual show. I never say I'm spiritual. Because when I do, I won't be here. Why would I stay in hell if I'm a spiritual being? To save mankind. For what? Their pleasures? Satan feeds everybody their pleasure, not takes it away. All right, the pain is how you move forward, not the pleasure. Look in the Greek days, drinking and partying and sex. Go back to the first religion, Hinduism. Shiva and Durga were all about sex. The whole religion was based on Kama Sutra energy and well, I'm not going to get into all that, but sexual energy and stuff. All right, which has nothing to do with God, only to do with the brain stimulation. And the brain thinks that's the highest state a being can make. Oh, and I can attain that by doing LSD or ayahuasca or peyote, whatever. No, you can't. You'll attain a state and maybe, probably even be out of your body. Remember, when you're out of your body, anything can go inside your body to use it. And if you do it in the right way, that can't happen. You should always be aware of that. If you're out in the woods and you decide to do a heavy LSD drug, anything can step in your body when you step out. And there's nobody to stop it. Because you know, enlightened wizard, high priest, mythical entity for a word. People, you know, I'll answer any question you have pertaining to God, Jesus, death, and reincarnation. The truth. And I put my life on the line for that. And I'm responsible to God only. If I lie, I want God to strike me down completely, period. It would be what I deserve. When Jesus told his disciples to go out and sin no more, he didn't say come back. But he never took credit for it either, people. When you give credit to somebody, give it to yourself. Become what you should be. All that you should be. Not going to a training and go, well, we can be better. No, we can just be honest and real. That's all we need to be. We could live life horribly, but if we're honest and real, it doesn't matter. Soul's in this body for 125 years max, usually 60, 80 years. In the olden days, you might have lived to 150, but we don't live past 125. Nobody's even making that anymore. So, when you talk about God, I do classes on that alone because I say, write a list of what God is and what God isn't. And you can't say God is everything. And you have to put something what God isn't. And you'll blow your mind out because you don't know anything. And you'll realize that when you try to do that. Good here, bad here. Write a list of all God that's bad and all God that's good. Well, God made a mistake? No, that never happened. We make the mistakes, not God. Jesus made a lot of mistakes, thinking he could change the world. But he did say things that people don't listen to. They read the Bible and say he said this, but he said there'll be many greater than he. And that never happened. Why? Oh yeah, maybe 100 years, 100 years from now, the Earth's not going to be here that long. They know it's going to be burned out, the same as the moon will be. The magnetic fields and the sun and all that are going to play on into each other. But where do you want to go? What are you doing here? What's your goal for the end of your life or the rest of your life? Most people say be happy. Get everything you want. If you want things outside of your body, it's easy to get it. If you want something inside your body, it's not going to be easy. People coming out and saying with the title, they're God, they're Jesus, they're Jesus' disciple, they're this, that, and the other thing. You know, even the Knights of Templar changed completely. They were working with Mary Magdalene and her daughter. And I thought about going into that religion and realized they're watered down, love and light, and you got to pay for your initiations. People think if you pay for something, it's better. If it's cheap and free, it's useless. Well, nobody will pay for the truth. Everybody will pay for a lie. Because a lie is going to make them feel good. Everybody wants to feel good, except me. I have a hard time laughing. I don't see things to laugh at. Sure, here and there. But actually laughing? I was in a religion. And they condemned me and said, well, Jesus was only a second initiate and all that. I said, your master, who was my master for 20 years, who is he? They claimed a lot of things. And people don't like you if you do something different. I'm not going to go into it. Not right now. But I did everything possible. Good, better, and even worse. I learned about every action that I created. What it creates. And you should. The first is stop creating karma. How do you do that? Think about what you're doing. If you hurt people in any way, I may seem to hurt people, but soul, which is what you are, is inside that body. It hears everything. The mind doesn't. The mind hears what it wants to hear. It blocks out the truth. It's afraid of the truth because it doesn't know. That's why in dreams the mind goes to sleep. So it can do and be what it needs to be and act and everything else along the way. People, I usually don't do a show this late at night because my partner's in bed, sick. But I just feel, listening to people coming out and saying these things, especially a friend of yours, somebody you knew coming out and saying the most ridiculous, stupid things possible. Nobody on this planet is better than anybody else. Musk, with all his money, is a lot more dangerous with his own karma. He hurts people, his karma is multiplied. Like I said, he's not going to see heaven. I'll be able to say that, that's for sure. Trump saying he wants to bring God and religion into a path that he knows nothing about. How's that possible? I'm going to teach you about God. Oh, the Bible says this, the Bible says that. That's not a teacher. That's a reader. God had reasons for everything it did and what it's doing right now. But it doesn't deal directly with Earth. There is no reason for it to do because it left deities in the next realm and then angels here. One step forward. Okay, people, you all have an angel. My phone's recording that to who? How'd that get on the internet? Angels and AI. It went on AI automatically. That's crazy. And her phone's doing it. People, things happen that are crazy. But you gotta stand your background, deal where it's coming from, and why. Why are you here? To have 5 wives, 5 kids, 100 kids, 10 yachts, 10 houses? What do you think you're here for? To be the best football player, best baseball player, best boxer? And we have not become any greater at a more loving, compassionate way. I just found on TV, I was trying to get on Netflix and free TV came up, and it's bare knuckle fighting, meaning, okay, do you know, I watched it. I was into boxing when I was real young. Then I went to martial arts. But when I watched that, I watched 2 guys beat each other up. Okay, 2 women came out. Man, black and blue here, blood in the whole bag of her eye, slashed across here. For a woman to do that, I don't care how much money she's making, you're doing damage to your body that you're not going to fix too easy. And then the one next after, I knocked the guy's tooth out. It's not a game when you're playing that. No gloves and no real laws and everything goes. We're going back to barbarism, how do you even say it? Whatever the word is, barbarian. It's horrible. The gladiator days. For real. People love it. People pay lots of money to see it. Now, 2 years ago when 2 Spanish people were fighting, I think they both made $150 million. One of them went back and built churches and did a lot of things with his money. I don't think the other one did. But that's how much money it raked in. Bad things rake in money, good things don't. But do we make good things? Well, Zimbabwe, and this is important, people. A person in Zimbabwe, you can pull it up. He built an energy device that's running a car. You don't have to charge it. You don't have to put gasoline in it. Plug it in or nothing. The cars will be out real soon. I don't know how fast they're going to let them into the United States. But it's going to screw Trump, Musk, everybody talking about, we want to go back to gasoline cars or we want to have electric cars. No, it's going to be a car that doesn't need anything. And it's a country, and they don't want it. The person that created it says, I don't want to charge a lot of money for it. I want more people to have it. All right. So, and then they said this device can actually put in a house to run your whole house for free. Not giving the energy people money or the electric company any money. It's called free. So that's going to be out soon. Check Zimbabwe and free energy, and you'll find it real fast. He came out. He was a scientist working on different things. But when he produced this, he says it's going to be cheap. He's not. He'll be a multi-millionaire, billionaire real fast once it's out. But he doesn't want the cars to be that much money like Musk. Now, trying to put out 2 cars like Tesla's car. One's less, one's more money. But the one that's less money has a lot better features than Tesla's car. So, mankind's always fighting with technology, medicine, but not about consciousness and relating to a world that we live in. And everything they create is destroying the planet, people. Well, look, I said a couple of things. I said if anybody wanted to ask a question, I didn't even check. Sorry about that. Thank you. Oh yes, a good friend of mine, Sean David Martin, died right around Christmas. He suffered for 2 years really bad. They tortured him in prison. He discovered Area 51. He discovered the first mothership coming in there, and they were on top of him all the time. Even when he went to court, they framed him with 150 charges. Sadly, he was called a sovereign citizen. In a court of law, their law, a person of that kind can't have a lawyer and can't say anything in court. He couldn't testify from his own self. One of them. I lost a friend who hated him for a reason. People are jealous of everybody else. I'm not jealous of anybody. I just feel bad when people put lies out. People that are supposed to be famous and good are putting lies out. We need better things going on in our world. Truth, honesty, and a bit of compassion for people, all people. Now, let's give everybody that's a child rapist or a murderer the death sentence. Nobody has the right to kill a person. Nobody. So, put him in a box, give him bread and water until he dies. It'd be a slow death, it'd be a horrible death. But the gas chamber, give him a simple way to get out, put him out so he can't do anything. Now, a nut house is only different because they don't agree with what we believe in. I don't believe it. I don't agree with 99% of people on the planet anyway, because they know nothing about a real God. I'm going to have people that agree and understand and know what I'm talking about. But there's only a few. Even in the past that I studied, they make up good stories. But they never got to a really important place in what was said or done in that experience. Talking to the greatest figure, if you met Jesus today, what would you ask him? The old saying, or you met God, what would you ask him? If you could ask Jesus 3 questions and God 3 questions, what would you ask him? I don't need to ask questions. I'll also say, take me and do what you want. Put me where you need me more than here. I think my time's here pretty outdated because people don't want any truth. They want to live in the lie of a Bible, manuscript, the Emerald Tablets, which is not a lie, but I meant to say, what's the other one? There's a couple of different writings in history, even Zechariah Sitchin talking about it, the Anunnaki and things like that. All lies, twisted stories. They take a person and build them into something like God. Anunnaki beings did not create human people. It's such horrible feedback that people accept. In the UFO world, most people accept a lot more lies than the truth. And they all hate me. I lost 16 people, taken out, of my good friends in the UFO world. Because they were talking about truth in the UFO world. Even Putin talked to Trump about the truth. And that didn't go public. I don't know why. Putin put it on Russian TV live. All right, people. It's late. I'm sure it's late wherever you are. But thank you for tuning in. Tommy Hawksblood here. You want to talk physically on Skype? I'm going to stick it up anyway. All right. Believe it or not, I hate typing. I wrote 5 books. My 5th book just came out. My 4th book is The True Teachings of Jesus from God Realization. My 5th book is for women only. Understanding a man's ego. You know, we all have ego, and we need a bit of it. But the second it gets a little too big, it takes away our personality, our truth, and recreates us into a working, hardcore zombie of negativity. All right, people. I hope you get something out of today. If you didn't, I'm sorry. Text me, call me, ask me a question that you can't answer, can't find an answer for, and I'll give you the truth. You don't have to accept it, and I won't charge you either. Don't worry. I'm not here to make money. Love, light, compassion, whatever you need in your life. I hope you get it. Don't stop looking. Don't accept somebody else's truth. Nobody's. If you can't prove it to yourself, it's not beneficial. Faith sounds like a great word, but it isn't. Children have faith in Superman, Santa Claus, and then it's all taken away. So faith is useless. Until next time, people, love, light, compassion. On the big island, Hawaii. I'm as real as it gets, people. And I challenge anybody on the planet about God. Anybody. Anywhere, anytime. All right. Till next time, people. Be soon. Promise I do a UFO show every Thursday. We'll probably try to do a spiritual show starting next week. Okay. Over.